Hello, and I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. I know that I am, and the skies are blue, and the sun is out, and the heat is up. Anyway, this is an excerpt from the Seaside Chat done with founder Catherine Friedman, and it goes back and walks us through 2018 all the way up to the present, or pretty close to the present, about the development of Onpassive. This evening, what I'd like to do is kind of go back to 2018 and just kind of walk us all the way forward and just start spewing things out. I'm excited. I might get some tongue twisting going on, but right off the bat, everybody knows that Mr. Mufar has always been very passionate about technology, right? He's our CEO. He's our fearless leader. He's been working a long time with online systems and with marketing in particular. He's a genius. I mean, the guru of gurus as far as that's concerned. Well, a long time ago, he got really disappointed. He lost his hope in the online marketplace because there was a lot of unethical practices that were going on there. He got together. Well, he started on his own, but then got together with a few of his friends, and they developed an idea for a business that was going to provide a way for anybody to be able to work from home, right? And make a decent living. I don't mean just a little bit of money. I mean, make a decent living. And in essence, at that point, he started to develop a way to foster hope for those that needed it most. People like me and people probably like a lot of you that were not successful online or successful in any way that you'd probably want to try to define that. So he started setting out with these ideas, and he wanted to create fresh new business model. He sifted through a lot of things, dozens of models, hundreds of criteria, right? And he finally came up with his idea for a revolutionary new model, and it literally flips the conventional business on its head. I mean, we've talked about that a little bit previously, but this is to say that today's model, the conventional model, almost universally is based on a survival of the fittest mentality. You know, it says, in order for us to make it in this world, we got to grab all we can for ourselves, pull it to ourselves, and keep it, and fend off the other people. Usually at their expense, right? And it's a mentality that actually operates on a premise that resources are limited, right? One, two, that there's winners and losers, and winner takes all. Three, that we're separated from each other, we're not connected. And that we work uncooperatively for individual benefit. And then, to keep our eye on the prize, so to speak, that model has us asking, what's in it for me and how is it that I prosper? Now, Mr. Mufar flipped that whole thing around, right? He worked a lot of long hours to establish his model, and it's basically based on premises that say, first of all, there's more than enough resources for everybody. Second of all, there are winners and winners, and we're going to win big together. The third thing he comes up with, directly in opposition to the conventional model, is that we're all connected. And we also work cooperatively, right? We work together for mutual benefit. And the question we ask is, how can we do for others, right? Now, Mr. Mufar's model is based on those revolutionary principles. It's what I call based on the new sciences and not the old sciences. And obviously, I'm talking the old sciences of Newtonian physics as opposed to quantum. And Onpassive is a quantum business. It's a conscious business. And those principles, namely, that there are more than enough resources for everybody, so we only have winners because we're all connected and we all work together for mutual benefit by continually asking, how can we help other people, right? Now, this model took a lot of work to develop, and it contains quite a few elements that you can see in other businesses, but when he created his model, they had like 9 or 10 specific elements to it. There were products, leadership, pay structure, corporate structure, technology, support, globality, legality, a pay structure with math that works, by the way, it makes sense. There was a corporate structure that's well-founded, debt-free, fully licensed, technology that's new and superior, right? It supports, support. Support provides almost immediate, if not
well, maybe near immediate responses. We're legitimately licensed, we're registered, and we provide real world solutions, for real world marketing, business challenges, stuff like that. For anybody that wants to know more about his model, you can go just do a Google search on Onpassive, the perfect solution, and you'll pop up a bunch of videos. I think Dr. Bill and Ash show up on some of those. But anyway, all this started back in 2018. And at the start, there was only a general plan. There was a strong desire and a slogan of do it or die. Personally, I'm glad that slogan didn't get brought forward, because I like the in it to win it, the done for you, and the AI with heart. But anyway, Mr. Mufara's work started with a simple path, right? Gave access to anybody that wanted to be able to access it, so that they could join. They could join at that path, and that led to being a founder, a member of Go Founders, which is about to change. Now, right off the bat, Mr. Mufara created a team based in Kolkata, India, right? The first task was to automate the Go Founders. That allowed the founders to market Onpassive, invite other founders, and to stay in touch not only with founders, but also with their prospects and staff at Onpassive, as well as Mr. Mufara. Every bit of that gave us the basis and the structure back in 2018. So that's how the whole thing started. That's where it really got off the ground. Now that year, right, as the original idea of becoming a network marketing platform took place, Mr. Mufara says he had a launch window of about 60 to 90 days and a budget of about 100K, which when you look at it now is minuscule. I mean, it might have been pretty big back then. It was kind of exciting. I know that I got in excited. I thought we're going to launch in February, of 2019. But the idea then was to attract, 3,000 to 5,000 founders to accommodate a user base of 3 to 20 million users projected over 2 or 3 years. But right out of the gate, we gained a membership that was greater than anybody expected, especially Mr. Mufara. He had his mind blown by it all, I believe. It just took us all aback. By November of 2018, we had already gone past the 5,000 founder mark, and by the middle of January 2019, we surpassed 10,000. We were in double digits as far as thousands, as far as founders go. And as a result, Mr. Mufara had to rethink his strategy, so to speak, and he extended the launch window, and he beefed up the budget. So we continued the momentum through the next couple of months, right? And that fostered the confidence to increase the budget more and expand the product base more. And by the end of March 2019, we had created a bubble of hope around the entire development, and we had surpassed 20,000 founders. But as things would happen because of the momentum that we had, we were starting to experience some growing pains. Now, in April 2019, in Mr. Mufara's own words, he said, we got it right? I mean, we got it right. And again, he beefed up the budget, and he adjusted Onpassive's operational scope, because when they finally got it right, they had this big, massive plan. They had the trajectory. It changed. They knew what they wanted and how they wanted, and now they just had to put it all into practice. And having continued to add more marketing tools, our platform held a whole suite of products. And by the end of June 2019, we were up over 30,000 founders, which was, well, phenomenal when you're thinking he was only expecting 3 to 5K. So, but anyway, going into the second half of 2019, Mr. Mufara moved the office from Kolkata to Bangalore, and then we took on some more staff, right? Meanwhile, just to change gears a little bit, we had and we still got the managerial office that's in Orlando, but we outgrew the Bangalore office, so we moved the IT hub to Hyderabad. We added more staff, added developers and engineers since the move, and the employee number fluctuates, but to give you an idea, we are considered a large company, and that's as rated by the number of employees we've got. So I'm not giving you the exact number of employees, but you can certainly discern it from that. Now, with the increased growth and sophistication, etc., Onpassive migrated from an online marketing company, right? Because we entered a much larger sector with products that include computing and software and telecommunications and just about anything involved in communication or any systems that help transfer information. And once we started adding those things to the product suite atop our already massive network marketing platform, Onpassive morphed into a large information technology company as a comprehensive digital solutions provider. And we were off to the races. There was a whole lot of hope going on back there, and there was a big bubble of it that was forming. And meanwhile, we developed some more new core digital products, which he's always doing. I mean, he's always thinking ahead, Mr. Mufareh, I mean. And he also came up with concepts for new radical breakthrough technologies that also emerged. And all of these things became a part of the new Onpassive process, or the new whole of what Onpassive was becoming, because it was gaining a lot of momentum. And it wasn't just the founder's momentum. It was all of the products and the technology, and everything was being built around the core of his vision. And Onpassive continued to expand on all fronts. Our capabilities grew while we were trying to keep pace with the product base, because it kept growing, and the bigger it got, the more we could do. And about that time, Mr. Mufareh started looking at automation, right? He needed to have automation as a means to streamline the efficiencies, because the product suite, as good as it was, it needed some seamless integration, and it needed the automation throughout the digital infrastructure so it can make full use of the sophistication of the program, because he's got all this stuff from scratch, and it's all brand new tech, and they've written the programming, and this is some beautiful, beautiful stuff. So the automation was going to complement the entire system. Now, during that time, Onpassive had challenges with getting that automation, because we didn't have, with the people in Hyderabad or our staff, we didn't have the expertise yet to add the features that we wanted without getting them from other companies, which he didn't want to do. And to complicate things, what Mr. Mufareh wanted to do wasn't possible with the conventional technology that we did have. So, you know, the man's nothing if not a visionary, right? Anyway, those realizations, coupled with a desire to have everything done in-house with full automation, led him to dive headlong into artificial intelligence, or more specifically, machine learning. Now, meanwhile, the momentum kept going, and by the end of the third quarter of 2019, we actually passed the 40,000 founder account mark, which is phenomenal. I mean, easily 10 times more than what we expected. Now, as a result of that, and moving forward, Mr. Mufareh increased the budget again, added some more staff, hired some top engineers to develop our own AI, right? And doing that turned our product suite into a smart business solution. Yeah, it got smart. And when we added newly created products, right, that we couldn't have done before without the new technology with smart tech, that SBS, the Smart Business Solution, became the complete digital ecosystem, and it represents, for the first time ever, a total internet solution, which we call the TIS, and that is with full and complete automation. So needless to say, the launch was pushed out again, right, as product creation, integration, and automation took center stage to produce an intricate infrastructure with AI sophistication. Now, Onpassive represents a first ever total internet solution with an ecosystem of partners, applications, providers, and customers. And it's going to provide our customers, which includes our founders, get it? Everything we could possibly need to start, maintain, and build their online presence. And our system combines the four technological pillars, right? We've heard these before, of automation, tools, traffic, and residual income. Now, Mr. Mufareh introduced that to us a while back, summed it up as CATMO, C-A-T-M-O. That's an acronym that quickly explains our system. And to learn more about that, you can Google the phrase Onpassive CATMO. And again, I think some of Ash's and Dr. Bill's videos probably pop up. But by the end of 2019, Onpassive has become an information technology, artificial intelligence company, and we surpassed 50,000 founder accounts, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, rolling into 2020, right, with a big bang, and not long after that, we saw COVID-19 reared its ugly head, right, expressed itself all over the globe. India was hit hard. Our IT IT hub in Hyderabad was shut down or conducted, minimal operations as directed by the prime minister at the time. And that was done more than once. As a matter of fact, we just came out of, I think earlier this month or last month, we just came out of another lockdown, which is hallelujah. I'm glad they're all safe and not everybody's working right. And I know they're getting things back to normal. Now, during some of this time that we were in lockdown, those that could have worked from home and remote locations did so with the full untethered support of Onpassive and Mr. Mufar. So, I mean, our hats and hearts should be out to them, and you got to love that, right? But anyway, 6 months later, right, June 2020, we had doubled the active founder accounts from 50 to 100,000. And it was more than obvious that Onpassive had captured the hearts of a lot of people. And those people, the founders, had a strong source of hope in Mr. Mufar's vision, as we all do now. And we've seen that even more come into a fruitive nature. So anyway, we continued to develop more high-level products, IT products. We beefed up some of the existing ones, right? They added features and a whole lot of smartness to them to become individual departments as standalone businesses. Now, our foundership at the time, and actually it wasn't that long ago, seemed to have hit a critical mass, as it were, and people really started to realize the magnitude and the sophistication of what we were doing, because 3 months later, in September 2020, we had doubled again up to 200,000 founder accounts. Absolutely phenomenal. 3 months after that, I mean, man, we were on a roll. At the end of December of 2020, we had doubled again to 400,000 founder accounts, and we hit about 50 departments as standalone within Onpassive. And now you got to keep in mind, you got to love this, keep in mind that all of this was happening during the pandemic. Not to mention the massive, remember the massive renovation that we did in Hyderabad, the building? And I don't mean a few offices. I'm talking, we did several floors. So throughout all of this, Onpassive has still made history and grown in a phenomenal rate, which is just, sometimes you can just say, wow, you know, wow. So moving into 2021, right, that brought us more into contact because we're growing and now we're worldwide and we're doing a lot of neat things. And it brought us into contact with regulatory agencies, governments, etc., right? And we've been developing relationships with them ever since, and some of them are pretty close, right? And they're trustworthy, they're trusting. And everybody at the time knew pretty much that Onpassive had been doing some alpha testing of the products, programs and services and such, you know, as we crossed into the new year there. We had all known about the O Connect. We've been talking about O Connect, and everybody was really excited to see that being used on our own webinars, although a little premature for us to, but hey, again, we had a lot of hope, right? So, but at that time, Mr. Mufara started to share with us about the other things that were happening, the other alpha testing that was going on, right? Simply meaning that groups of his staff were running, you know, 50, 100, 150 accounts through some of the products so that we can get a sense of the integration and performance factors from them, right? And the big one being talked about at that time was Academy. You probably remember that. There were a lot of other things happening in the background too, as far as alpha. I mean, along with running alpha on Academy, they were doing ODIT and OMail and OConnect and OPost and OCounting and OCapture and OWallet, and they were doing a lot of them. And a lot of the ones I just mentioned were actually part and parcel or integrated with Academy. And the founders got a real good look at that. I think it was about February of this year, and we actually did some nice videos. Let's see what else. About that time too, there were other background issues and things going on that the founders didn't really know about, but Mr. Mufara would allude to them sometimes in his conversations. And there were challenges, you know, with the financial side of things and legal side of things, regulatory systems, as we were achieving complete compliance across international borders in more than 200 countries. And there were tons of things going on that we just really didn't have the need to know. And if anything at all it was told, I mean, there's nothing we could do about it anyway, right? A little later, somewhere around March of this year, Mr. Mufara rolled out 20 or so of the products. Remember, we started talking about the mega product launch. I mean, there were 20 of them, right? Keep in mind, we got 50 of them, so we got a lot more going yet, right? And that At that time, that's when the majority of founders started to realize, you know what, we're already in part of the soft launch. We're in the early part of the soft launch, and that launching Onpassive was not going to be a quick event. It wasn't all going to happen in one fell swoop. And it was also at that time, and this is my opinion, that a lot of us settled in to appreciate the journey more because we're getting a real sense of how big this is. I saw hope, man. I mean, it blossomed. Appreciation blossomed. A lot of founders really started stepping up and standing out, right? As a record-breaking influx of founders pushed our founder counts toward the end of June this year up over 750,000. That is unheard of. It is phenomenal. Nobody in history has done that, especially in pre-launch. We haven't even launched yet. That's crazy. Now, with continual development of products and adding feature-rich content, right, and capability to the existing ones, our digital evolution has been pushed beyond anybody's expectations, and it just keeps going. Incidentally, speaking of Go Founders and the O Founders, there was also 6 sizable Go Founder changes or upgrades. Mr. Mufara didn't even use the last one. I mean, they created it and threw it out, and instead he opted to create a new platform from the ground up. We know that as O Founders. It's slated to go online in a week or two. Now that was the 7th change, and O Founders is one of the 50 or more full-fledged departments within Onpassive, right? And when it goes online, it's going to bring several products for the founders to test drive, and you're going to be including things like ONet and OMail and OTrim and OTracker, and I think the other day he said that he may throw some more in there, OLead and some other ones a few days later. I mean, we'll see, but it will also house, and I'm tickled to death over this because I've got, some of you have seen it. It's going to house the new ebook, the revamped, restructured ebook. Oh my gosh, let me tell you guys, it is drop dead gorgeous. I showed what kind of a wuss I was, man. My tears, I looked at how beautiful that thing was, and I read through it cover to cover, and it is absolutely spectacular. You are going to love it. We have gone out with an email to, well, you saw the post in the back room. There's about 50 motivated founders right now working on about 50 different translations. And we got the first translation in today by Antonio. Thank you, Antonio. He did the Portuguese translation, and that has been sent to support. So we hope to start seeing those show up on the O Founders site when it goes online. We're not going to see them before. So anyway, continual development of its online marketing tools and services formed our foundation, right, of our product offering. Now, those offerings grew into a product suite. That product suite became the Smart Business Solution. That Smart Business Solution continued to expand and evolved into Onpassive digital ecosystem. And that later became the completely automated total internet solution with integration of artificial intelligence. And now we are the world's first TIS, total internet solution. Yeah. So the sum result of the effort of Onpassive is an online digital marketing ecosystem with an AI, a neural net that we call the TIS, and it's smart and it's completely automated. And the AI is technologically and emotionally intelligent. Yeah, it feels the love, baby. We got heart, all right? And more than that, our AI has got heart. So, you know, when we say Onpassive AI with heart, that's exactly what we're talking about. We know what's going on, and it's working for us. But right now, we're a groundbreaking artificial intelligence and information technology company. Our intellectual property, proprietary cutting-edge technology, and innovative IA base are all wrapped around the sheath of Mr. Mufara's vision, and that vision is the DNA of Onpassive. Now, think about this, because the 3 big tech giants, Microsoft, Google, and Facebook, right, took them about 5 to 6 years to hit unicorn status, which is it's an annual billion-dollar valuation for the company. Now, as expected, Onpassive's progress is already being watched around the globe with a lot of anticipation by all the powers in the tech world that be, right? Because we're gonna be the world's first unicorn cult. That's what I'm calling it. It's called a sparkle, by the way. Sparkle is a baby unicorn. I love that. Anyway, it's going to be able to stand on its own immediately following birth. Yeah, this is I'm saying that according to what we believe the first month's earnings are going to be, then project them out 12 months, Onpassive is going to hit the $1 billion valuation long before the first year we're open, right? And the numbers that I use for this are very, very conservative. So, anyway, I've got a quote here that I want to actually look at and share with you from Mr. Mufara about how we started. So I quote, "We are starting much stronger than other companies like Google, etc. Our staff has come from companies like JP Morgan, Apple, Wells Fargo, etc. Like Google at its beginning, Onpassive is a movement, and we too will become a global leader. In this way, we will be way above the crowd." Now, I love that. I have always loved that. That's one of my most favorite. Onpassive, I'm telling you, is more than disruptive, right? It's going to power a positive global economic change that's going to disrupt the current online marketing model. It's going to replace also the current online business model. That's a double whammy, right? To allow millions to get unstuck. Now, Mr. Mufar, that's his words. And, as a sidebar here, that's going to start with the founders, of which I fully believe there's going to be, at least 1 million of us, give or take. But we are the first ones that grasp that vision and collectively internalize the hope manifested through it. It's happening. And it's happening in large part because of our consciousness, our awareness. In particular, as founders, we're setting the intentions and we're holding those intentions with and for each other. And those intentions obviously are for success and well-being and lifting humanity and all the good things that we think about. Those are our intentions, right? So without getting too deep, though, you need to understand, or at least know, that Princeton University came out with a study some time back that says when bonded groups of people are holding an intention together, it's 6 times more likely to happen than holding it on your own. And trust me, Onpassive founders are certainly a bonded group. So I just validated all of you guys taking time to attend this and the other things we do for Onpassive. So founders, whether a big drop or a little drop, doesn't really matter. We're all expanding the Onpassive consciousness and we're all moving it forward. So I'll leave that alone. I'll get back to being unstuck. There is another metaphor that I love that Mr. Mufara used, and I've used it before, and it's that of a lighthouse, because you see, a lighthouse is built in an area that requires safe navigation, lest we find ourselves getting battered around on the rocks of life, right? Metaphorically. Now, Mr. Mufara built the Onpassive lighthouse to stand way up above the hazardous online terrain that we can see when we're online, and so that we can safely navigate, the vessel that we control, which is, a business or a hobby or whatever online presence we've got, right? That beacon of hope that comes from that lighthouse is held up by the structure of the lighthouse, right? The light is on top of the lighthouse, right? It's energized by the power within the lighthouse. I'm hoping I'm making sense. And the light is amplified through the lens of compassion that radiates out as a beacon, right? I'm really hoping. I know this is kind of weird, but Onpassive, right? Its staff and its infrastructure is that lighthouse. Mr. Mufara is that light. He's held up and powered by the lighthouse. And the founder base is the lens of compassion through which hope is magnified for untold millions, eventually billions. We're doing this. And in this way, Onpassive can get us unstuck. It can lift us up and out of current circumstances of lack and failure through a very powerful and sustainable, completely online digital marketing platform offering products and pricing like the world has never seen before. And I do mean the world. I mean, we have a market cap that's just shy of like 5 billion, right? Because that's how many internet users there are. And they all have a reason to come to us to be a part of Onpassive. And we have everything they need to fully automate any online presence. It's scalable, it's fair, and it's priceless. Now, the founder's position is only like the only one currently available from Onpassive. It's only available in pre-launch. It's a one-time price of $97. We all know that, or we should, right? There is a money back guarantee. It's a yearly membership. But even though the benefits are immediate, right? the clock on that membership doesn't start, so to speak, until we actually open to the public. And this means using founders, we can build our personal customer base at no cost right now. But the founder cost is liable to go up. It may or may not as soon as we hit soft launch. During the soft launch, we're going to be testing the marketing and money flow, obviously, right? That means there's got to be some money in the system. So there's going to be a chance to earn even before we open publicly. So think about this. Look at the amazing things we've done in the last 2 years. Through founders, and after we open, millions of customers, eventually billions, are going to gain access to Onpassive's life-changing platform. And we have platforms for email and marketing and domains and web and training and education and chat bots and trackers and HR and social media and payment solutions and crowdfunding. I mean, business automation, and lots more, right? 50 or more of these products, each standalone capable of generating unicorn level income. And they're all connected to each other. They're integrated. They're fully functional and completely automated with AI. And this is the help that you've needed. This is what we've all been waiting for. And you need to know too that our products don't have any caps. That means they support unlimited use. So incidentally, unlimited theme that we've got here, I'm talking about, it runs through everything that Onpassive has. I think that's got to do with probably Mr. Mufarah's unlimited heart. I don't know. But this means you can run your entire business under total automation with more products than you probably currently got now for a whole lot less, because we got one affordable monthly cost, period. And that cost is the lowest fair market price on the globe. It's just one price, one monthly. There's no upsells, and our system can actually pay you a lot to use it. And here's something else that I wanted to, this is another quote from Mr. Mufarah, and then I'll kind of leave it alone. I know I went really fast, but I hope you're recording this. Here's something Mr. Mufarah said recently about what we are and what we offer. And so I quote this, and I love this too. It says, quote, "You pay and you own the world. That's it. That's what Onpassive is. Everything you need to communicate, to learn, educate, to connect the world, to promote your business to any activity that goes around your daily life, today's life, is already in Onpassive. Once you make that payment, the light goes on." And that's the end of my presentation. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I can't wait till we open it up and see all the stuff that we got going on here tonight. I'm humbled. I just love the fact that you let me talk a little bit about how I see our future and the importance of the founders and Onpassive going forward. I would ask for any of you that have been invited, get back with the founder that invited you, join that team. It's going to be a choice that you cherish. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. But whatever you decide, just know that everybody here in Onpassive and the Go Founders, we wish nothing but blessing and blessing upon you, your family, and your future. Thank you.